Oh, Sage, in your opinion, what kind of Jyotish astrologer can consult people?
Well, Brahman, I'm very glad you asked me this question. And the answer I will give comes right out of one of the main Sanskrit texts of Jyotish, the Brihat, Parashara, or Shastra, where Parashara himself answers this question and gives the qualifications that are necessary for a person to be an astrologer and to consult with people. And actually, to answer that question, I'd like to share a slide that then I'm quoting that passage from Parashara Hora. So allow me just to paraphrase the quote from Parashara Hora, which is, according to the Parashara Hora, an astrologer must be very skilled in communication, right? They must have a high moral character. I'll say more about that. They should be calm, truthful, devoted to divine knowledge, of course, deeply knowledgeable about all aspects of Jyotish, planets, signs, houses, nakshatras, and so forth, but also knowledgeable about remedies, because Jyotish has both a predictive side, but then it also has a prescriptive side, things that can be prescribed to help a person improve the karma that's reflected in their horoscope. So to elaborate on these different points, Parashara emphasizes a person having very high ethical standards, right? They want to be someone who's quite truthful, but humble, and have what we call a good moral compass in order to be able to offer righteous advice. Of course, they must be deeply learned, not just in just astrology, but different aspects of Veda as well, and have a good understanding of the psychology of individuals. Of course, the analytical skills to be able to analyze complex planetary configurations, grahas and yogas and so forth, and be able to interpret those accordingly. And then, talks about character traits, which would be internally peaceful, having respect for teachers, right, and elders. But then to be able to not frighten people with Jyotish, meaning don't make purely fatalistic predictions and give the people impression that somehow they're completely doomed, right? And give the knowledge that then has a constructive purpose, with, again, a good grasp of remedies. I reckon, invariably the astrologer gets put in the role of a counselor, right? People want the advice of the astrologer based on their chart. And so I always encourage people to not just get education in Jyotish and become proficient in Jyotish, but also get some training as a counselor. Now, some people are natural good counselors, right? They were just born that way. They have that strong empathy and so on and so forth. I myself chose to get a master's degree in counseling psychology, right? To be able to combine good counseling skills with the ability to accurately interpret horoscopes and to predict. So these are the things that people should keep in mind about what qualifies an astrologer.
Thank you, Sage.
You're welcome.